Welcome to the Survival Strategies for the Holidays workshop brought to you by the Edmonton Oliver Primary Care Network. Today we are going to discuss the following: holiday stress and facts, how it affects the mental health system, the stress response cycle, common mental health concerns, cognitive behavioral therapy, coping strategies, loneliness, coping with a first holiday without a loved one, sleep during the holidays, family dynamics, expectations, boundaries, and saying no, relaxation techniques, and as well a list of free things to do over the holiday. We understand that not all things may pertain to you. Therefore, either focus on what does, or just be mindful that others may be going through some of the other concerns during the holidays as well. I can't figure out why I'm so stressed out about the holidays. I've been spending more money than I have in my pocket, overscheduling myself, eating too much sugar, consuming too much alcohol, setting unrealistic expectations of family members, and not getting enough sleep. Holiday stress. Some common factors that increase holiday stress might be money, family, budget, cooking, decorations, excessive commitments, office parties or other parties, unrealistic expectations, societal pressures on how the holidays are supposed to be, presents or buying gifts, memories, good or bad, and alcohol. This graph is to show you the leading holiday stressors. Lack of time is the first one, as we tend to overbook ourselves. Too much time, possibly during COVID with the lack of parties or gatherings, travel time and such, we might not have anything planned during our times. Lack of money, spending too much money that we don't have. Commercialism or hype, what we are told or the idealistic view of what the holidays should look like. The pressure of giving or getting gifts. Family gatherings, feeling the need to spend time with family members and attend all functions that we get invited to. Staying on a diet, so following that meal plan. We tend to overindulge during the holidays. Increased credit card debt. Traveling, feel the need to travel. So this in turn also increases stress in the financial department. And children, concern over their needs and wants rather than within the means that you have. Holiday stress facts. 8 out of 10 people anticipate stress during the holiday season. 2/3 of people claim financing in the holidays as a significant stress factor. This may have increased over this time during maybe the pandemic that has caused people to potentially lose their jobs and the decreased income during this time. 50% of people feel an obligation to tend to their families during the holidays. 40% of people report overeating or eating unhealthy foods because of holiday stress. 50% of women moderately or significantly worry about their weight during the holidays. If any of these that you feel that you can relate to, you might be at significant risk for holiday stress. Holiday drinking trends during the time that we have 16% of adults say they drink more than usual during the holidays. 22% of these people who have attended a holiday work party have felt pressured to drink. 50% of people say that alcohol plays a role in their family's holiday gatherings. And 96% of adults who went to work hungover or know of someone that they did. If this is a significant factor for you, you might want to look online for potential AA meetings, or if you know someone who is at risk, to find resources that can help them. Al-Anon is also a good resource for a support if you know of someone or have a family member of who someone excessively drinks. Please also remember that there are check stops around this time of year to limit your drinking when you're going out, or call an Uber or taxi. The stress response cycle. Stress is a biological and psychological stress response experienced on encountering a threat when we feel that we do not have the resources to deal with it. A stressor is a stimulus or threat that causes stress. For example, divorce, death of a loved one, moving homes, a loss of a job, exam. Firstly, our body judges a situation and decides whether or not it is stressful. This decision is based on sensory input and processing. For example, the things that we see or hear in a situation, and also on stored memories. So what happened the last time that we were in a similar situation? For example, what happened last Christmas? Sudden and severe stress generally produces an increase in heart rate, increase in breathing or lungs dilate, and decrease in digestive activity where we don't feel hungry. The 3 stages of stress are fight or flight, resistance stage, and exhaustion stage. In the fight or flight response, hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline increase, and our body starts to prepare us for the fight of danger, or we flee from it. If the stress is eliminated, the body relaxes and returns to normal. Chronic stress results from being in a long-standing stressful situation that we are unable to fight or flee from. This can lead to chronic illness. This would also be called the resistance stage. During the 3rd stage, which is the exhaustion stage, the chronic stress starts to impact our physical health. The long-term fight against stress depletes our energy, so you feel fatigued or run down. This in turn decreases the immune system and the ability to work efficiently, therefore increasing your body's susceptibility to illness such as sickness, flu, general unwellness, and the possibility of chronic disease. In this stage, depression can also become a concern. If you take a look at the stress curve here, a little bit of anxiety or stress can be a good thing. At the front of the graph, you'll see that maybe bored or seeing improvement might have our bodies in a state of calmness. When we increase that stress, we can have a good anxiety or stress, which can energize, keep us focused, or that we work effectively, or that we work effortlessly. We can also become distressed. So if our optimal performance is hindered and we are unable to focus or stay energized, we can then become fatigued, exhausted, have ill health, a breakdown, or a burnout. Crisis resources. Suicidal ideation and other known suicidal thoughts is thinking about or having an unusual preoccupation with suicide. The range of suicidal ideations can vary greatly, from fleeting thoughts to extensive thoughts, to detailed planning, role-playing, or incomplete attempts, which may be deliberately constructed to not complete or be discovered, or may be fully intended to result in death, but the individual survives. Thoughts of suicide can occur when you have mental health concerns, and it's really important to address them immediately. If you are at risk of harm to yourself, it is an emergency. You can call the 24/7 distress line at 780-482-4357 or the crisis response team at 780-342-7777. Do not hesitate to call 911 if you or a loved one are at risk. The support network can also help you with handling a situation if you or a loved one are in it. There is a handout in the package online for these resources as well. Stress, how to cope with stress. Stand back and remove yourself from the stressful situation. Take a deep breath, count to 5, and think about the choice that's best for you. Relax. Do something that relaxes you. Take a bath, read a book, listen to music, etc. There's more resources in this book as we go through it. E, exercise. Get that stressful energy out in a way that works for you. Sleep. Take a nap or just rest for a while. And speak to someone about it. Share your emotions. A little bit about the cognitive behavioral therapy approach. So CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is an effective treatment for depression and or anxiety or any other mental health illnesses that you might have encountered in your life. It is considered evidence-based. It is a psychotherapeutic approach that helps patients understand their thoughts and feelings that influence behaviors. Negative, dysfunctional, and irrational thought patterns affect a person's mood, sense of self, behavior, and even physical state. You can work with a mental health counselor in a structured way that addresses a range of problems. The goal is to change our thinking patterns or behaviors that are behind a person's difficulties and change the way that you feel. You can do this over the holidays to help address dysfunctional thinking patterns. The overall message of CBT is to identify negative, irrational, or false thoughts and replace them with healthier, more rational, realistic ones. We'll go through a couple examples on the next slides. The CBT model example for irrational thought patterns. We usually bypass the thought and head straight to how we feel. This process happens within 2 to 5 seconds, depending. This reaction is also very cyclical, so that every time you experience the trigger or event, you will think the same way, feel the same feeling, and behave or react the same. Until we break this cycle and learn to think differently, we are unlikely to change the way that we feel or our behavioral patterns about it. So we'll just bring up the issue of being not invited to a party to reinforce maybe loneliness, the feeling of loneliness. The thought behind that is that I won't have a good time. We may have some introverts listening who might like staying home, so that we can suggest maybe going out if there is an invite. The plan is to change the initial thought after the trigger has taken place. So we want to be mindful of the thought when we understand what that trigger is. The belief system stems from our history and our past. So the not being invited to a Christmas party, I won't have a good time, I will be alone. I'll be in the corner. Maybe no one's going to talk to me. These are all potential thoughts from the negative. So we want to change these, that I will have a good time if I go to this party. I won't be alone. CBT can be explained and tailored in your own way, however you want to think about it. These will eventually change the feelings. You could ask yourself, if I'm triggered by something, how would I prefer to feel? If I don't like feeling sad or lonely or depressed, what would I prefer to think? What would I prefer to feel? And the behavioral reaction might be then connecting with someone new and go out and enjoy the party. The plan is to thought stop and reframe your new thought to something that's more believable and more rational. So in this next slide here, some thoughts that might occur during the holidays, I want you to go through these examples and ask yourself that if I thought this to myself, how could I think differently about these situations? Restructure some of these thoughts, and what would you prefer to believe? I can't get this all done. I can't afford this. This isn't how I thought it would be. I can't stand my family. I'm lonely. I hate crowds. I have too many parties to attend. I'm exhausted. I haven't accomplished anything this year. It's all just too much. So for an example, I can't stand my family. You might want to say, I can see them online at a distance, or I can set boundaries with my family if I choose to go. Another example is, I can't afford this. Maybe you're feeling pressures of money or financial situations. You might say, I can make a gift this year and it will be just as special. This would ultimately make you feel and behave differently with regards to that gift. Coping. So we always talk about coping. So we want to know what that means. So in psychology, coping means to invest our own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try to master, minimize, or tolerate stress and conflict. The psychological coping mechanisms are commonly termed coping strategies or coping skills. The term coping generally refers to adapting coping strategies. That is, strategies that will reduce stress. In contrast, other coping strategies may be coined as maladaptive if they increase stress. Furthermore, the term coping generally refers to reactive coping. For example, the coping response that follows the stressor. This differs from proactive coping, in which coping response aims to neutralize a future stressor. And reactive coping could be potentially something in regards to as alcohol, for example. Loneliness during the holidays could be something that people experience. There's a prevailing sense that everyone is living a Hallmark movie with the ideal family and perfect celebrations. We see this all the time in our society. This can trigger feelings of isolation, expectations might be high, and comparisons might run rampant. Loneliness is common during the holidays, even though many people feel a tremendous amount of pressure to be happy and socially connected. Empty nesters and the elderly may be particularly vulnerable to feelings of loneliness. And people who experience chronic loneliness tend to have a shaky sense of self-worth and self-esteem. They may misinterpret feelings of loneliness as confirmation of their inadequacies. So that goes back to the thought processes. This leads us back to the thoughts that we have in particular about our specific situation, which we can use some of the CBT strategies of that thought stopping and rational thinking to restructure those thoughts in particular. Coping with the loneliness during the holidays. We want to seek company. When you're out and about, engage in enjoyable and interesting activities. You're less hyper-focused on your negative thoughts, and you'll be able to break yourself out of those self-defeating spirals that loneliness may ignite. Talk with someone in the line. Smile. Give someone a compliment. Share your feelings with a good listener. Be honest with people that you trust and tell them that you're feeling lonely. Divulging these feelings is a vulnerable and daring act, which most people will appreciate. Honor your feelings. Your feelings are normal responses to everything that you've been through in your life, especially during this pandemic. Give yourself permission to feel those feelings and then separate yourself from them. Ask for what you need. It's important to clearly communicate your needs with others. For instance, you might ask your spouse to give you a hug or your mom to make your favorite dessert. Avoid social media and the news. If you find yourself getting upset by these sites, limit or stop yourself during these holidays. Practice self-care. Focus on taking care of yourself. Get enough sleep. Engage in physical activities you enjoy. Practice deep breathing. Breathe in what you need, such as serenity, peace, or strength, and out what you don't, such as sadness, pain, and loneliness. Have realistic expectations, requesting the type of support each person is capable of giving. Avoid expecting things to be good or bad. Accept things as they come. Question your social group. You may still feel lonely when you're out with others, but this isn't necessarily a negative thing. You might be hanging out with the wrong people. For instance, maybe surrounding yourself with people that that appreciate you or don't put you down might be a little bit more helpful. Volunteer. Perhaps volunteering for the local food bank or soup kitchen or shelter. Seek therapy. Remember that loneliness is not the same thing as being alone. Solitude can be a beautiful experience. Solitude is the ability to really be oneself without the noise of outside influence and expectations. It is an opportunity to get to know yourself and love yourself on a deeper level. However, if you're experiencing feelings of loneliness, reach out. Seek support from others, whether loved ones, a therapist, or both. Family dynamics can be difficult. The holiday excitement, the family gatherings, and the celebration can all create a mixed bag of emotions that may include everything from grief and sadness to anxiousness and stress, even depression. Maybe this past year held some pain for you, so your enthusiasm about the holiday season might be diminished. Maybe you've had a family member pass away recently. Or maybe you've experienced a broken relationship and you're dreading the family dynamics of the in-law gathering or the to-do list that's pushing you over the edge. Maybe your mix of emotions is related to your marriage or the stress of the season can bring to your relationship. Maybe you and your spouse typically disagree over the holidays about how you handle the family dynamics and which family members you'll spend the holidays with or how much money you'll spend on gifts. Whether dynamics impact you individually or affect you as a couple, the undercurrents can often lead to dread over the approaching holiday season. Although the range of emotions you're experiencing may be broad, we've learned through experience that often special gifts we can unwrap amid the pain and difficulties. We might just have to look a little harder to find them. So finding what you're potentially grateful for within your family dynamics can be helpful. So coping with family dynamics, discovering the strengths and weaknesses of both your family members and yourself. Keep these in mind when attending family functions. Forgive for the time being. Go to the functions with the past being in the past and be present in the moment. Handle the past issues another time. Plan ahead and prepare yourself. Set your time limits. State the time frame or have the time frame in mind for how long you'll be there. Communicate that time and have a plan to leave if necessary. Listen with an open heart. The concept I use here is to be a heart with ears and no mouth. Listen and have the other people feel heard and listened to. Remember, you married into the family. I think this one explains itself. Recognize that you can only change yourself. The main thought and takeaway message here is that you're not in control of other people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, only your own. You can also refer to our website at the EOPCN for other communication or other tips for coping with anger as well that might be helpful. Tips to prevent stress and depression. When stress is at its peak, it's hard to stop and regroup. We try to prevent stress and depression in the first place, especially in the holidays when it's taken a toll on your emotions and potentially in the past. What we want to try to do is we want to try to acknowledge your feelings. If someone close to you has recently died or you can't be with your loved ones, realize that this is normal feeling of sadness and grief. It's okay to take time to cry or express your feelings. You can't force yourself to be happy just because it's the holiday season. Reaching out if you feel lonely or isolated, seek out community, religion, or other social events. They can offer support and companionship. Volunteer your time to help others, so it's a good way to lift your spirits and broaden your friendships. Be realistic. The holidays don't have to be perfect just because it's this time of year. As families can change and grow, traditions and rituals often can change as well. Choose to hold on to a few, be open about creating new ones. For example, if your adult children can't come to your house this year, find new ways of celebrating together, such as sharing pictures, emails, or videos. Set aside differences. Try to accept family members and friends as they are, even if they don't live up to all of your expectations. Set aside grievances until a more appropriate time for discussion. And be understanding. If others get upset or distressed when something goes awry, chances are they're feeling the holiday stress as well. Stick to a budget before you go food or gift shopping. Decide how much money you will spend and how much you can afford to spend. Then stick to your budget. Don't try to buy happiness with an avalanche of gifts. Try other alternatives. Donating to a charity in someone's name, give homemade gifts, or start a family gift exchange. Plan ahead. Set a time-specific days to go shopping, baking, visiting friends, and other activities. Plan your menus, then make a shopping list. That will prevent last-minute scrambling to buy forgotten ingredients and make sure to line up for that party and prep and clean up. Learn to say no. Saying yes when you should say no can leave you feeling resentful and overwhelmed. Friends and colleagues will understand if you can't participate in a project or activity. If it's not possible to say no when your boss asks you to work overtime, try to remove something else from your agenda to make up for that lost time. Self-care is key. Don't abandon your healthy habits. Don't let the holidays become a free-for-all. Overindulgence can add stress and guilt. Try these suggestions. Have a healthy snack before holiday parties so you don't go overboard on sweets, cheese, and drinks. Get plenty of sleep and incorporate regular physical activity into each day. Take a breather. Make some time for yourself. Spending just 15 minutes alone without distractions may refresh you enough to handle everything you need to do. Find something that reduces stress by clearing your mind, slowing your breathing, and restoring your inner calm. Some options may include taking a walk at night, stargazing, checking out Christmas lights, listening to soothing music, massage, reading a book, having just a simple cup of tea. Seek professional help if you need it. Despite your best efforts, you may find yourself feeling persistently sad or anxious, plagued by physical complaints, unable to sleep, irritable and hopeless, and unable to face routine chores. If these feelings last for a while, talk to your doctor or a mental health professional. Keep your sleep during the holidays. Pace yourself with activities. Stick to how much you can handle and say no to the rest. Stick to your normal sleep routine. It may seem impossible during the busy holiday season, but it's really not. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends and holidays. Stay consistent to reinforce your sleep-wake cycle and encourage a relaxing night's slumber. If you have a holiday evening party to attend and you plan up staying late, then try to keep your wake-up time the same, even if you feel tired the next day. Avoid eating within 2 hours of bedtime. If you're feeling hungry, have a glass of water, milk, a light snack, fresh fruit, or granola. Milk contains the amino acids to help people sleep. Make your bedroom your sanctuary. Minimize noise, wear earplugs if you must, or a night mask, and eliminate the ambiance of light, turning off the alarm clocks and your phone and any other electronics you might have. Avoid alcohol and caffeine. Avoid them at least 4 hours before your bedtime, as a stimulant will keep you awake. When it comes to caffeine, watch out. It's not only present in coffee, tea, or cola, but in other chocolate-laden treats that you might nibble on at a holiday party. Alcohol is also known as a depressant. You may think this is helpful to help you fall asleep, but when your body metabolizes it during the sleep cycle, it often disrupts your sleep and wakes you up. Keep your mind calm and anxiety-free at bedtime. The holiday can bring up stress and anxiety, along with joy and excitement. Thoughts about when you'll find time to finish your shopping or do all the cleaning the weekend before guests arrive might plague your waking mind. But put these to rest at least an hour before bedtime by writing out a worry list and what you need to get done, and then putting that list aside for bedtime. Get plenty of exercise. Exercise during the holidays reduces the levels of stress hormones in your body, but avoid anything too strenuous, aside from sex, within 3 hours of your bedtime. Regular exercise can promote a deeper sleep. Learn a relaxation technique. If you're having troubles with winding down before sleep, learn a relaxing technique such as progressive muscle relaxation or a mindfulness technique. These practices involve tensing and relaxing certain muscle groups one at a time to create awareness and tension and relaxation in the body. Your health and emotional well-being are the most important personal assets. Maintaining healthy sleeping habits, no matter what season, can help you feel refreshed and recharged so you can truly enjoy precious time with the people you care about. Take time to incorporate these tips into your everyday routine, and you'll notice a difference almost immediately. We also have an insomnia workshop on our eopcn.ca website that can help you focus on sleep hygiene and healthy sleep routines. Set your own expectations and boundaries and stick by them. You're not an elevator and no one can push your buttons unless you allow them to. Remember that you're not required to engage with anyone who's being nasty or abusive. If the last holiday gathering was a free-for-all of insults, talk to your parents ahead of time and tell them why this isn't acceptable for you. If the host or hostess isn't willing to enforce rules of civility, you want to consider not going. If you don't go, keep those boundaries in mind. You don't have to be rude or unpleasant, but again, no one gets a free pass on hurtful words or behavior. If you won't be joining your family of origin, remember that you're not required to answer questions about why you aren't going somewhere. It's your choice whether or not to talk to family or with other people. Estrangement is far from common. Don't let yourself be shamed by something you never had control over anyway. Types of communication. Over the holidays, our styles can vary depending on who we are with, our mood, and what is happening in the moment. Assertive communication is the ideal form of communication. It is based on mutual respect for both the speaker and the listener. Assertiveness involves expressing your feelings, asking for what you want, and saying no to something you don't want. Assertiveness communication doesn't guarantee that the speaker will get what they want. It just helps improve the likelihood, but the speaker still has a personal choice. Where do you line up? Keep in mind that perhaps more than one behavioral style applies depending on the situation. You can also refer to the eopcn.ca website to access the effective communication workshop that is pre-recorded as well, and for more, a booklet on more information. Saying no. If you are overextended and run down, try to practice your assertiveness skills. It's often hard to prioritize, but rather than trying to do it all, focus on the most important activities and tasks. It's better to do a few things well than to do everything poorly. Similarly, it's better to be in the moment and enjoy a few social functions rather than to simply go through the motions, show up to everything, and feel not good about it. You have the right to say no without feeling guilty. You have the responsibility to allow others the right to say no also. Why is it hard to refuse a request from someone? People struggle with assertiveness when saying no. You might be afraid of hurting or disappointing the other person. You might not believe that you have the right to say no. You might be afraid that the other person will get angry or might have poor awareness of what you want. What does it look like when someone is bad at refusing a request? They might use avoidance or forget a commitment purposely or be late. You might think to yourself, what kind of communication style is this? They might respond with anger because they think the request is unreasonable or insensitive, justifying a blow up. If anyone here feels guilty with saying no, this is pretty common. And often we may feel responsible for others, or our job is to oblige and meet other people's needs at the cost of our own. It could be difficult to say no as well if we're often in the role of a caregiver or have a supportive role and become accustomed to saying yes to everyone. Adjusting this may feel awkward because it's not the norm when we're in these roles, but it is important to acknowledge your own needs. It is important to be able to say no. Ask yourself, do I often find myself saying yes when I really want to say no? If the answer is yes, you're adding to your stress levels and can cause resentment, feeling overwhelmed, even causing anxiety and depressive symptoms to build. Saying yes can make you write your own script for the holiday. Consider abandoning your old patterns. You don't have to fall into old patterns of trying to people please or trying to keep people at peace. You are allowed to make your own choices. Yes, it's hard putting cultural expectations or your beliefs about the holidays into a different perspective, but try serving a new script and skipping the drama. Create the holidays as you wish them to be. Getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things. A baking video, craft videos, supper calls, videos, meetings, doing a virtual Christmas party. Gratitude is an attitude consciously cultivated and an orientation which can be eventually become a habit. Gratitude is an approach to life. Gratitude is more than just a feeling. Practicing gratitude is an overall approach. We are learning to see things through a different lens, a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. We can't be anxious, envious, angry, worried, and grateful at the same time. Recognize the gifts. We can strengthen the ability to recognize the gifts in life. We can, over time, learn to better notice the beauty around us and ground ourselves in that beauty. We can learn how to slow down and savor the goodness. There is so much beauty during the holiday season to relish and enjoy. The lights, the ornaments, candles in a window, and children's faces. We can learn to recognize not only the gift, but the person who gave us the gift. We can grow to understand that many people have helped us along the way, providing us with what we couldn't do for ourselves. We no longer take people for granted. We realize that we're deeply connected with people in our past and present. They've helped us bring us to where we are today. The Daily Gratitude Inventory, DGI. Dr. Charles Shelton has developed a DGI, the Daily Gratitude Inventory, a written daily examination of the gifts and blessings in our own lives. Writing encodes of positive experiences in our memory. This practice helps us become aware of our blessings. It may be helpful to break down the day's events in the following categories. The everyday. Enjoy your senses during the holidays. Taste the varieties of food, lovingly prepared. Delight in a tiny white light strung along the streets. Revel in the deep winter colors, the sumptuous velvets and rich brocades. Celebrate the changing of the seasons and create rituals that fill and sustain you. Bring out the flannel sheets, the fire logs, and the candles. Savor the beauty of the world around you. People and relationships. We gather with friends and family during the holidays and feel deeply connected with those we love. We feel a sense of belonging. We go out at night. We visit each other in our homes. We dress up and go out on the town. We enjoy good entertainment. We connect with some of the people in our lives only once a time, maybe this year. Plan ahead for the holidays, scheduling events you look forward to with people you enjoy. Feel your affection for the people you love. Notice the big picture. As you focus on your life, take the long view. This is a good time to reflect over the past year. Focus on what was good. Was there a difficult situation that you handled well? Did you exhibit a strength or talent this year that was helpful to another person or for your organization? Was there an experience that helped you grow? Did you receive insight or an understanding that changed you for the better? Taking in the good. The practice of taking in the good uses your mind to change your brain for the better. It has been shown that practicing gratitude actually changes the brain chemistry. Your mind changes, your brain changes. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Gratitude practices that have been proven to strengthen existing synapses and actually thicken the frontal cortex, building new synapses. Directing attention skillfully is a fundamental way to change the shape of your brain over time. I want you to right now maybe take a moment to say something that you're grateful for in your life or for this year. Some other relaxation techniques. Grounding exercise, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one in particular is when you're getting stressed and need something to do in that moment. You would say 5 things you can see, touch, hear. 4 things you can see, touch, hear. 3 things you can see, touch, hear, and so forth. You may not need to complete them all, or you may need to restart if you are not feeling calmer when completing this exercise. But this is a good method to try. As noted before, progressive muscle relaxation, learning to relax your body by tensing various muscles, eat one at a time, and then relaxing them. This strategy can help lower overall tension and stress levels. It can also help you to become more aware of where you're feeling the stress. Deep breathing practices can be done also in the moment. To do deep breathing, you need to breathe in through your stomach so that it inflates and deflates. To make sure that you're doing it correctly, you can put one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach, and make sure that your chest is not so much moving, as that can cause anxious breathing. A 3-minute breathing space exercise can also be found in your package online. And there's also other ones listed here, such as natural observation, so going for a walk and noticing what's in nature around you, creating a mental image, such as being on a beach, doing a body scan and noticing what's in your body, working out, so exercise, punching something, like a punching bag, and journaling, so journaling what you're noticing as well. Self-care for stress management. So self-care is to look after yourself and provide what you need for yourself. Examples of self-care is going for a walk, taking a bath, reading, exercise, drawing, painting, any type of activity that is enjoyable and increases your joy and happiness. Therapy can also be self-care. The spa, yoga, music, nature, hobbies or crafting, and meditation or mindfulness practices. 30 ways to de-stress in less than 10 minutes. There is a handout of this is as well that would be attached to the online learning program. Some examples are listening to your favorite tunes or music, stretching, telling jokes. Humor is such a good way to de-stress. Picking some flowers, kicking a ball, reading an inspirational quote, petting your pet, or maybe going into a dog park or asking to have some time with someone else's pet. Looking at a happy photo or reminiscing from previous vacations or good memories. Consultations through the Money Mentors, from credit counseling and money coaching to financial fitness classes. Money Mentors offers experienced and qualified counselors and coaches to improve your financial situation. With 7 different locations throughout Alberta, they offer face-to-face appointments as well as phone consultations. Phone consultations are free. The credit counselor during the consultation will review your income, expenses, assets, and debts to help you determine your needs and discuss options with you. They also ask you to fill out a spending plan form. So those are also potentially found online via Money Mentors. Taking a look at this website for free meals during the holidays, or if you go to the Canadian Mental Health Association website, so cmha.ca, and looking at the 211 resource list will get you a list of all of the free meals that are out there during the holidays. The last orange on earth exercise is another great mindfulness practice to help you in those moments of stress. So grabbing an orange and looking at the mindfulness practice in the booklet that is attached as well to the online video that you're currently listening to. This is a great exercise that you can do with an orange or maybe another fruit that you enjoy, but the citrus of the orange is a lovely one that brings your senses to life. Some things to do during the holidays: walk through Horlock Park or the Legislative grounds, checking out the lights. Candy Cane Lane, maybe bringing a food bank donation if possible. Glow is at the Edmonton Expo Center. Secret Santa gift drop for looking at the different locations for Secret Santa. Pick a neighborhood, walk around and look at the lights. Attend Christmas concerts via online connection if need be. Join a caroling club. Christmas markets and fairs might be virtual, and make sure you wear your mask as needed. Have your friends over and make a craft or do a puzzle. Festival of Trees, attending that event. Bake or do a craft, maybe make a video of how to if you have something unique that you would like to showcase. Walk around or go skating, and visit virtually with Santa or go see Santa and take some pictures. Avoid the holiday stress with 5 simple mindfulness techniques. Being mindful boosts the immune system, increases your positive emotions, decreases your negative emotions, fights depression, aids learning and memory, improves attention, and enhances relationship satisfaction. Being in the here and the now, self-care, gratitude, creating boundaries, and saying no. This is a really nice holiday to-do list that helps with creating a different perspective. In a sense, you're using CBT. Be present, but wrap someone in a hug. Send peace. Donate food or time, and be the light. So if you're looking for more information or where this information was gathered from, here are the resources that you're able to take a look at for further personal growth in some of the areas that were discussed in this video. Here is the list also, if you're struggling during this time of the pandemic during COVID, here is some mental health resources that are more likely to be of evidence. So taking a look at those. Anxiety Canada there at the bottom is a great resource as well for other concerns that you might have on anxiety. And I just want to wish you happy holidays and wishing you all the happiness and blessings this holiday season and in the years to come, and the new year filled with joy and new beginnings. Thank you for joining the holiday workshop. I hope you enjoyed, learned something new, and wishing you all the best with managing and handling your holiday stress.